Hello everyone, that manga kid here to do a final review on Escape Journey. This is by Ogeretsu Tanaka. This is a 3-volume series put out by, I think it's SuBLime. Yeah. And it's a yaoi series, of course. The first 2 volumes are quite thick, and then the third volume is very, very thin. So I think it kind of balances out in terms of content over the 3 volumes. They're all the same price, I believe. So, you feel like you're getting a good deal on the first 2, and then the third one, you're like, this was very expensive for this tiny amount of manga. But anyway, I really enjoy the covers. I love the neon colors. I think that's a lot of fun. And I love the character designs. I think that the characters, all of the characters, the males and the females, are all really gorgeous. And this is a college centered story. It does do some flashbacks to high school because the point of Escape Journey is that the two boys, Taichi, who I believe is this one, and Naoto, they were high school lovers, I guess. They were friends. They got kind of sexually involved, I believe, and then as a lot of boys do when there's you know some pushback in terms of being gay and whatnot, they kind of get scared and exit the situation. And so their relationship kind of ended in a fight and they never really spoke again. Now fast forward to college and you've got the two of them run into each other. They're not expecting to see each other, or like, I guess Naoto, the blonde one, I think is the main character, and he's not expecting to see Taichi there at college. And so when they run into each other, they're kind of like, oh no, what do we do now? Like, we ended our sort of relationship on a really sour note and we haven't spoken since. And of course the lust kind of rekindles very soon after they reunite in college, and of course they start sleeping together again and trying to navigate that relationship again, because they clearly have not dealt with the feelings that brought the initial fight on in the first place. They are not really identifying as gay. They don't really know what's going on with themselves, but clearly they are, or at least, they're interested in men. But they're not really ready to accept that or say that out loud. And so that's a problem when you're trying to be in a sexual relationship with another man and you can't come to terms with your own feelings or attraction. You tend to take it out on the other person in a negative way. And so the first volume, I was not the biggest fan of. There was a particularly kind of violent sex scene that I was not a fan of. Some people were okay with it. I was not one of those people. Honestly, I've read a lot of yaoi, and maybe I'm just blocking a lot of them out. I don't know. But to me, the one sex scene that I'm thinking of in volume 1 is the worst, most uncomfortable one I've ever read. And that being said, I do typically steer clear of ones of yaoi series that very clearly are going to be problematic. But I don't know. I just wasn't expecting something like that in this, and it happened. And it didn't deter me from finishing the series and buying the rest of them, clearly, but it did leave a bad taste in my mouth, and I have not reread volume 1. Yeah, it was the way that it was. They were fighting. They were legitimately fighting. And that just didn't fly with me. It just didn't. But then volume 2 and 3 completely surprised me. Volume 2 and 3 were much more about their identities and them discovering kind of what that means and trying to think about their future together, because they're in college, they're adults. And they, are thinking, well, if we're going to live together, if we're going to be together, shouldn't we tell people that that's what's happening? Shouldn't we tell our families and introduce each other to our families? Shouldn't we tell these friends, the 2 girls that I showed on the back cover of volume 1, those female friends, shouldn't they know that this is what's going on? There's some other guy friends that they each hang out with, and I think that they have jobs as well. I can't remember entirely, but they have coworkers and things. But anyway, volume 2 and 3 focused a lot more on their coming out process and their self discovery. And obviously, there's a romantic rival and all of this stuff, but it was fun and it was playful, and I enjoyed it. Volume 1 feels like a completely separate entity of just. Volume 1 felt very much yaoi esque, whereas the other two, they still had sex in them, don't get me wrong, but it was more just like they're in a relationship, of course they're having sex. And yeah, it just had a nicer feel to it. So I do recommend picking this up. I caution you on volume 1 if what I've talked about seems like it will not really fly with you either, but I think that this series is still worth picking up. The art is really beautiful, the character designs are gorgeous, and the story, at least in the last 2 volumes, was really, really good. I'm gonna find some art for you. It's quite busy. Let me make sure there's nothing on this page here. Like, as you can see, so you've got some really nice character designs, and it's really busy. There's a lot of text and a lot of stuff going on. Like, it's not a lot of just white backgrounds and stuff, which I really appreciate with yaoi, that it's not that way. No, that's very explicit. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun. There are a lot of sex scenes in that first volume. Okay. Um, yeah, I liked the series overall as a whole. If it was just the first volume and it was a one volume thing, I would not recommend it at all. But the two volumes 2 and 3 really picked it up for me and saved it, um, to make it something that I would recommend picking up with caution when you read volume 1. Yeah, but if you've read Escape Journey, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. And if you have any more questions about it, for sure, let me know. Yeah, thanks for watching.